Welcome into another day of breaking news here at the OHIO podcast. Welcome in. Knoxville, Nate, Chris Wilds is with me, gentlemen. How are you guys doing this evening, Nate?
Doing good. Good to see you boys.
I
Chris?
just want one night where I can take an hour nap after I get off of work. That's all I want. One night where I can get an hour nap after I get off of work. But no, it seems like something is hopping in Columbus every day over the last few weeks.
It is, man.
Good or
Every
bad?
every single day. Every day. But hey, this one was the kind of day that I was anticipating and hoping for. I was waiting for the day Ross Bjork was going to answer some questions about Ohio State's NIL, about the transfer portal, all of that. The last few days, there's been this whole thing with Learfield that has blown up all over social media with people. A week ago, I did a video. A week ago where I laid out for everybody my understanding of what was going on with the NIL at Ohio State. And after listening to that interview with Ross Bjork on WBNS 10 TV, shout out to them for getting that interview. Um, Chris, I feel vindicated. We nailed this thing. We hit this thing smack dab on the head. We nailed it. Pat on the back.
Yeah. And a lot of people are like, why aren't you spending the money? Why aren't you spending the money? We have to have the money. We do have the money, Eric. And he said as much. We've got the money, except, it seems like we're doing it the right way. And maybe there are some people who aren't. And I like the fact that in this interview, Ross talked about the market correction that needs to be made because what happened was these teams that aren't necessarily playing by the rules, these teams who were front loading, these teams who were doing all the things they shouldn't have been doing, have now caused that 22 million that was that was part of a federal settlement, not an NCAA rule, not a Big Ten rule, not an SEC rule, but a federal settlement. They have caused that number to not be adequate anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and a correction has to be made.
Yeah, so we're going to get into all of that. Let's start here, though, okay? So let's start with what is supposed to be happening, which is what we were talking about a week ago where we hit the nail on the head. So that settlement has led there to be what's called revenue sharing. The number of roughly 20 million was settled per school, per university, to divvy out amongst their athletic department and their programs however they see fit. Okay? For the lack of an argument here, let's just say it 20 million to the football team. We know it's a little less than that, but let's just say 20 million. That money is the money that the university and the athletic department is allotted to use to negotiate contracts, if you will, NIL deals with the athlete directly. Okay.
Now, Eric, can I chime in here for a second? Because you said what we can use as an NIL deal. This is not technically part of the NIL. This is direct revenue payments.
Correct.
This is what we are allowed to do. The NIL is actually a separate thing, which
Correct.
they can do through the third party.
But let's be honest here. The people who are getting this money, it's because of their name, their image, and their likeness on the field. What they
Without
do.
a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
So whatever we want to label it, there's revenue money set aside for the university to negotiate with these players. This is where Pantone and them are sitting down with these guys and they are saying, "Hey, here's what we value your worth. This is direct money you are going to get if you sign with Ohio State and play here in 2026." Now, that money is, for a lack of better term, capped.
Yes.
It is capped. What we are then seeing And Ross Bjork even alluded to it, although he was very politically correct in how he answered the question. Thankfully, the question was kind of asked is, hey, what about all these schools that we see that are out there spending, seems like, money hand over fist above and beyond the cap? And that's where this interview got incredibly interesting, because that money is then where the NIL comes into play, Chris.
Yes.
And like we explained to everybody, this is where your name, image, and likeness is, you are able to use your name, image, and likeness to get further funds for commercials, social media posts, a podcast, whatever someone wants to pay you for. That has to be submitted to what is called the College
NIL
Sports
clearance.
Commission, right?
Well, that actually goes to the clearinghouse.
The
NIL
clearinghouse.
Go. That
Right.
NIL Go is the name of the clearinghouse. Anything over $600 must be reported to NIL Go. Now,
Right.
the enforcement body is actually the College Sports Commission,
Right.
which at this time is, according to Ross Bjork, severely understaffed, which is why we are seeing schools trying to skirt the rules.
There you go.
Yeah, it
There-
sounded to me, based on what he said, that they're not technically, fully at full go yet.
Right.
And because of that, people think that they won't be punished because they're the enforcement piece. And I guess people are thinking that they're not going to get in trouble if they don't submit them. They're probably doing some stuff off the books. But Ohio State, based on what he said, is doing things by the book because they think at some point, this commission will be handing out punishments, and the punishments sound pretty severe based on athletic director Bjork. He said a coach can be suspended, potentially for the entire year, and I don't think that's something we should mess with.
Also, he said that this could come back on the player. That to me is very interesting. The NCAA tends to not want to punish players, but if players are now all of a sudden taking money, that they shouldn't be taking, the NCAA loves their money. That is clear. All you got to do is ask the team from Ann Arbor if they like money. NCAA loves their money.
Hell, bought them out of a sanction, Eric.
Exactly. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think there will be punishment handed down by the NCAA for these schools who are doing this in the form of fines.
Yes.
And I think the NCAA is going to cash in big time on these schools that are out there going above and beyond, giving NIL deals that are not going through the clearinghouse or the NIL Go. Now, I broke this down a little bit a week ago. There are some states that are saying that the NIL Go is not legal, and that this house settlement is not legal, and therefore any universities within their state do not have to follow that. Well, Ross Bjork was stressing over and over and over again, this was a federal legal thing, not a state legal thing. So this is going to be fought out in the courts, and it's going to take a while, I think, to be fought out in the courts. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. See, this is something that's going to fall under an interstate commerce commission or something like that, because of the fact that you've got the schools in all the different states. Of course, it's got to be federally mandated to keep it uniform.
Yeah,
and I don't think the states are going to have a leg to stand on. To be honest, in this, they're going to fight. They're going to lose.
Yeah.
I hear you agreeing with that, Nate.
And all these schools have agreed to the settlement.
Correct.
And when you agree to the settlement, that means you're going to abide by it, and abide by these federal rules. So states can certainly have a legal right to fight it, but that doesn't mean that they'll win. And I think that was one thing that the athletic director strongly was pushing, was to put things in place so that everyone can't just sue about every single issue, because that's what's happening right now. A lot of these things are new. A lot of these things are relatively new, and if something doesn't go a particular team or a player's way, they're just suing about it and trying to get around it that way. But we've seen that doesn't always work.
Bart, good to see you, man. If you have a big donor, the school won't care about fines. Ross actually brought up, he actually used the word bagman in this interview.
He talked about the brown bag. He said they were bringing it back. I love that. Again, I love the fact that Ross Bjork is calling out those people. And like you said, Eric, he did it politically correctly, though. Yeah. He didn't name particular universities, but we can all see who they are when we look at who's coming out of the transfer portal.
Yeah. Well, he did mention the McDonald's bag at one point, which, if you've heard, follow the news.
It's a direct reference.
That's a direct reference to the school about 10 minutes that way, the Tennessee Volunteers, where Jeremy Pruitt was having his pregnant wife deliver cash to players in McDonald's bags. So I think he kind of said at least one school without saying it. And that's the school that got Chaz Coleman, who was, apparently, based upon a lot of sources, going to the highest bidder.
Yeah. And he also mentioned delivering bags to church. Now, who was doing that? Who was delivering the buy bag to church? That is a new kind of twisted, just a mess right there.
Gotta be Notre Dame, right? No, I'm sorry.
Well, they do have Quincy Porter.
I don't know. I'm having some fun with it.
Better watch it. Marcus Freeman might come beat you up like he did that wrestling coach.
Like the boogeyman, Marcus Freeman. No, this needed to happen. We all knew that eventually Ross Bjork was going to have to come out and answer it. Some people are going to immediately say that this was damage control. This was him spinning things. Ohio State is not doing well in NIL. They're not doing well in the transfer portal, and he's just trying to calm everybody down because of how much noise there is. And there might be a little bit of him trying to calm Buckeye Nation down a little bit, but I'll tell you what calmed Buckeye Nation down more than anything is the day we had yesterday.
Yeah.
That's what calms Buckeye Nation down.
Getting those two players from our feeder school, as he referred to it.
Well, he didn't call it that. One of the hosts called it the feeder school.
The feeder school.
Timmy called it the feeder school.
Boy, somewhere Nick Saban's just rolling over, just kicking and screaming about that.
Yeah, no doubt. Buck Vader's in the house, our insider. What up, V? I agree with Chris completely. The feds will have to regulate this. Okay. I was always going to eventually get to this topic. And that is this. Why is it Ross Bjork and Ohio State are so rigid on making sure we follow the rules in this? Why aren't we out there doing what and the school that is obviously doing this is LSU. Obviously. When you see kind of the numbers being thrown out by the players and you start to add them up, you're like, oh my gosh, they're literally going to spend their entire revenue on 4 guys, 5 guys. Like, come on, man. Yeah. Like, give me a break. Texas right now on a heater when it comes to the transfer portal. Texas Tech traditionally will build our entire roster. Now people are even questioning Indiana because of the news that came out with their big alumnus from the Dallas Mavericks owner, Mark Cuban. Thank you. Dropping some money on their doorstep. I don't know if that's the case or not, but the fact I'm trying to get is, why are we following the rules in this? Ross obviously is not going to answer that question. He's not going to come right out and be like, "Hey Ross, why don't you cheat?" He would laugh at that question. What do you mean? Why aren't we cheating, right? Guys, I want to get your opinion. I'll start with you first, Nate. Why do you think Ohio State is just like, hey, man, we are going to follow the rules here?
Because he knows that we would be hammered. I mean, everything we do is big news, especially if it's negative, right? There's people, I kind of equate the Buckeyes to LeBron James. People either love the Buckeyes or they hate them. And, when we win, nobody really cares. Nobody really talks about it. When we lose, it is the number one story in every media outlet. It's the front page, news when we lose. And so if there was a scandal at Ohio State, it would be the most publicized thing in the world. Michigan's got their alumni out in the media world pretty thick, and they can kind of hide stories. They can kind of twist stories and do what they want. Ohio State, not so much. And so I think he knows that if we were to bend the rules, break the rules, ignore the rules, not only would it be uncovered, not only would we get would it be reported, but I think we'd be punished, because in the past we've been punished pretty hard, and a lot harder than some other schools who've done similar or worse things.
Chris?
Yeah, Nate's 100% right. Well, I think there's a couple reasons. One, we are Ohio State. I do believe that we try to take that high ground. I think we try to run a clean program. I think that sometimes, for better or worse, we're a little too goody two shoes. But it goes back to exactly what Nate was saying. The NCAA has a history of picking certain schools it likes to hammer. For penalty, they hammer guys at these schools for much lesser offenses than they do people at other schools. I mean, you saw Michigan get away with a multi-year cheating scandal with some fines, but some Ohio State players trade some personal memorabilia for tattoos, and were vacating wins and missing bowl games. Now, granted, that was self-imposed, but again, for the same reason. They do the same thing with schools like USC, Miami, Ohio State. Tend to garner harsher penalties than any other school in college football. And let's call it what it is. People hate success. And the NCAA and the cronies in there hate success. We are the New York Yankees. USC at one time was the LA Dodgers. Miami at one time was the New England Patriots. And the NCAA knows the best way to prevent that from happening is to sanction us into the Stone Age. And one of the reasons, and I'm going to go back, a movie I know you love, Eric, is Blue Chips.
Love me some Blue Chips.
And Nick Nolte has this great line when he asks, why, do you know why I don't cheat? He goes, first of all, I could get caught. I could get caught and I could lose everything. Second reason is I might not get caught. And I think that actually plays a very important role here, because if you get caught, you lose everything. But if you don't get caught, you kind of lead yourself to that dark side of the force, so to speak, and set yourself up for basically destroying your program long term. I think that's what Ohio State is trying to avoid.
Bart, what will the narrative change? Will that narrative change, talking about how much Ohio State's spending and whether we're spending it the right way or not, if we were happen to get Seton, who entered the portal last night? He is asking his starting bidding price is $2.5 million. It is reported Ohio State came out with a $3 million offer. What I think it equates to is a lot of extra funds are available because some guys left early, and including Max Clare, who just made it known today that he'll be going to the NFL draft. And not only that, but you've got guys who are, they were willing to spend, hey, here's 200,000, 300,000, 500,000 to stay, and now they're gone because they felt like they were offered more. Maybe they've got more to spend now on that. I think the dollars and cents kind of make sense on that, but I get it.
Well, don't you think that he's worth $2.5 million if we pay, the Rice offensive tackle $1 million to not even play?
100%. He's the best offensive tackle in college football.
I agree. Yes. And we've missed on a couple of other guys that have already been in the portal and already gone. if this guy's available, why would you not, maybe overpay for this guy? Because this guy could solve a lot of our issues and bring back the nasty to our O line. I mean, 2.5 million sounded like a deal to me, and maybe that's me being crazy, but that sounded like a pretty good deal considering what we've paid to some other guys.
And it was confirmed by our insider Buck Vader. Yes, we did offer 3. So there you go. So the bidding started at 2.5, and we said we will give you 3, big man, to come be our starting left tackle for 1 year at Ohio State, and allow Austin to kick out to right and give us as much depth on the offensive line as we have probably ever had at Ohio State. So that would be very, very interesting. All right, I'm going to circle back to what you guys were saying on why is it we are not willing to step out of our quote-unquote comfort zone here and skirt the rules, push the boundaries here a little bit when everybody else seems like they are. Now, we just launched our Illuminati channel today. The Illuminati, sorry. Mika's new podcast, The Illuminati, on YouTube, where we blend the lines between college football, Ohio State, and conspiracy theories. And we talk Ohio State conspiracy theories, college football conspiracy theories, recruiting conspiracy theories, you name it, we're going to talk about it. Let me give you one here. This is a conspiracy theory. Ohio State was pushing very hard for the NCAA to investigate the team up north, pushing them very hard. And when you push somebody to do something, there is the opportunity for them to come back and push hard on you. And so we have to make sure, given the environment in college football that we just came through with the cheating scandal in Ann Arbor, where maybe we were in the ear of the NCAA throughout this, that we are a squeaky clean program. Because you know that the team up north is definitely going to be looking for anything they can find to throw at us. Lord knows they were using Jim Tressel and tattoos from all those years ago to try to justify whatever emotions they were having. But my point is that Ross Bjork understood the temperature in the room. He understood the day and time in which we were living and the environment that we were going through. And he was like, boys, we better be clean on this thing. We better be clean on this thing. Because of how voiceful we were and maybe how much noise we were making with the NCAA. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly a true thing. I mean, there's anything we do is scrutinized by not just the people that follow that team up north or our rivals. Everything we do is followed by our own people, our own fans, fans of other teams. Everything we do is scrutinized for sure. And I think he pretty much said in that interview that the Ohio State mantra is to win at a high level and to do things with integrity. And when you say stuff like that and you push that mantra, well, you better back it up, because people are gonna check the receipts. And I mean, I think at this point, with the resources that we have at Ohio State, we can do it the right way. I mean, there's no real limit on how much money these guys can make. If we have our sponsors, we have our collective, we have the third party avenue to go on top of the revenue sharing. I mean, I don't think we are going to suffer just by abiding by the guidelines that are in place. Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel that way.
No, Nate's 100% right. That's we should be doing it the right way. And Eric, you're 100% right. The NCAA is going to push back. It's going to be driven by the Michigan media, who was so butthurt, for lack of a better term, about us calling out their program. They'll be pushed by the Indiana fans who think they're the greatest thing in the world right now. They'll be pushed by the Notre Dame fans who, well, they just all hate me. But they will be pushed by these people anytime that they have a chance to slam Ohio State. And again, this is a team that has a history of being slammed by the NCAA every chance the NCAA gets. So I think it's a very wise move on the part of Bjork, on the part of Ryan Day, to skirt this thing and do it the right way. And Nate is 100% right. We have the money, we have the people in place to do it the right way. Let's do it the right way. Was I critical of how we were moving in the portal? Absolutely. Do I understand a little more now why we were doing it the way we were doing it? Absolutely. Am I still going to be critical of the portal? Absolutely.
Chris's middle name is critical. What are we talking about here, guys? My gosh.
Well, even positive Nate was getting nervous there after a while, man. As the list topped 20, and we had signed literally no one of substance. Even I was getting a little nervous. So I can't blame Chris.
Let me say this too. In with that, we have an opportunity given to us. Let me just say this. Our insider, Buck Vader, sent me a text this morning and said, everybody's acting like we're in the 2-minute warning on transfer portal season. We're only in the first quarter. Relax, bud. And I was like, that's an interesting take.
That's halftime.
You see a lot of names in the portal. There might be some new names. There might be some guys who we circle back around on. But I thought that was an interesting take. Let me throw this up here real fast. Max Clare decided he was going to put his name in the NFL draft for this year. Certainly makes sense now why we ended up going out and picking up 2 tight ends. I think this information was known by Ohio State for at least a day now, maybe 2, as to why we went out and we got the tight ends that we did. I'll start with you first, Chris. Smart on Ohio State getting a couple tight ends, probably knowing that this was going to happen.
Absolutely. But I will say this. The Northwestern tight end, we talked about it, probably a little more of a blocking tight end. The OU tight end, I think the same thing, a little more of a blocking tight end. Where is our big pass production going to come from at the tight end position?
Bennett Christian.
That would be my thought, because you might have said Johnny Thurman at one time, never really obviously developed
in Chapel Hill now,
and he's in Chapel Hill. Max Clare's gone, Will Kazmarek gone. So yeah, Bennett Christian's gonna have to be the guy if we're gonna have a pass catching tight end. I think
LeBlanc, maybe
he's not too bad. No. Maybe Roberts, maybe he can do more than block out of the backfield. We don't know. We just haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, Max really wasn't our, crazy pass catching tight end. What do you have? 43 catches, 448 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he showed some games he would do some things, but I think overall we would all kind of evaluate him as kind of underwhelming in an overall standpoint. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he didn't help us some. But I guess when we landed him, I expected more. I guess
yes,
I'll say.
I agree.
And where does he think he's getting drafted? Because, I mean, will he get drafted? Probably. But you score 2 tight ends.
He's a day 3 guy.
2 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, day 3.
He's a guy that should have came back and improved his draft stock.
I agree.
He's a day 3 guy. I mean, if I had to pick 3 guys who definitely needed to come back, it was Max Clare, it was Kenyatta Jackson Jr., and it'd be Austin Severveld. All 3 of those guys, at least 2 of them have the potential to be first-round guys if they play their way into it this season.
AI says, and again, this is AI. AI says Max Clare is projected as a high day 2 second or third round to early day 3 4th round pick.
I could see the day 3.
That is quite the range, Mr. AI. Jiminy Christmas. He might make it to the 2nd round, or he might make it to the 4th round. Like, come on.
If he gets picked in the 4th or 5th round, I think he'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, he should be.
Christopher Sauer says he has a 3rd round grade.
Was that a PFF grade? Because we've determined they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
You don't have 3rd round production, that's for sure.
But I will say this, Nate, and Eric and I have. If there's one thing we've balked about when it comes to the NFL draft, it's that they love their combine. They love the guys who's got the intangibles,
measurables,
or the measurables rather, so much. They love their measurables so much that so many of these guys end up drafting poorly because they're basing everything off the measurables and the combine.
Just look at Anthony Richardson, buddy.
Yes.
The guy, he start 12 games at Florida, didn't really wow anybody. He goes to the combine and, does a Kamula, and all of a sudden he's going, in the top 10. And
so basically what the deal with the NFL is if you look good in your underwear, you're going to go in the top 2.
Well, Chris, I am never going to be an NFL player, unfortunately.
I don't know. You've got that Nebraska thong you can sport.
Yeah, well, that's maybe they would look at me and be like, that guy right there makes a great center. I don't know, short and fat. No one moving him around. If I could only long snap. I've often said if you can get in the NFL and have a 13-year career as a long snapper, you are the smartest human being on the planet.
Zach DeOssie.
That you have no injuries. They can't touch you on the field. What a way to live your life, right?
Yeah. Zach DeOssie made Pro Bowls, won Super Bowls, got paid millions of dollars, and doesn't have a scratch on him. So it can be done.
All right, let's circle back around because Tyler said, what did Ross Bjork say? Let's circle back around for those who are in here now who weren't here at the beginning of the show. Ross Bjork just did an interview a couple hours ago with WBNS 10 TV. That is the CBS News affiliate here in Columbus. They also own 97.1 The Fan, which is the ESPN radio affiliate here in Columbus as well. Ohio State does a lot of work with them because of Learfield. Learfield is also the organization that Ohio State is in bed with when it comes to NIL dealing. The reason for all of this is the last few weeks, given the environment of the transfer portal, how many players we've lost, how many players we didn't get at first, the money that was being thrown around. So many people were questioning this. I did a video about it. We all talked about it on the lives that we were a part of. And it really became a crap storm the past couple days when some big name podcasts brought up Learfield and started talking about NIL deals. And so Ross Bjork did exactly what I thought he was going to do and should do at some point and come out and answer questions about NIL. We confirmed, we hit the nail on the head. We were, we nailed this thing from the beginning. We are following the rules of engagement that have been laid out by the NCAA since the House Committee, Infractions Committee had their little ruling about revenue sharing in NIL. The federal law came down from that. Ohio State is following everything to a T. Ross Bjork he admitted during the interview in a roundabout, tongue-in-cheek kind of way, politically correct, although, that yes, there are some schools who aren't following that. And he's on the side of the fence that says the NCAA, when they finally get the NIL go up and running properly and they have their arm of infractions committee who can lay out punishment to that arm of the NIL go, that there will be punishment handed down to these schools who are not following it properly.
And Eric, quick question. Do you think he knows the timeline, or was that just a number he was throwing out? Because he specifically mentioned 2 years down the road, penalties would could hit you.
It's the timeline of Michigan too, by the way.
Well, you got to have the infractions either reported or found, and then you have to do an investigation, and then they have the ability to fight that, and then then the punishment's handed down. So that sounds about accurate based on what we've seen before.
But is the process going to be identical, given that this is a different entity and not the NCAA itself
Hopefully it's quicker.
Hopefully it's
who
faster.
is creating it?
I'm hoping it's faster. That surely has to be the reason for going away, or using this module as far as the commission goes. And I think Ross also, I do think he was trying to calm people down a little bit. One of the first things he said was, guys, everyone needs to remember we have 9 of 11 offensive players coming back. I thought that was weird that he said that because it sounded to me like he, was trying to calm the waters a little bit. But it was also interesting, I think, that he came out today and did this interview after we signed some big names out of the portal. He didn't do this 3 days ago because he would have been hit with a lot more questions. Then today things have calmed down considerably.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But, he mentioned too that we have 28 recruits coming in, and, and if you look at us now, when you combine the high school recruiting class and the portal gets, we're rated second overall in most grading services when you put those two together. So I think you have to look at it as a whole, and I think he did a good job kind of laying that out. That's what fans need to look at. That's what every evaluators need to look at. You need to look at both combined when you're looking at this.
So on top of that, he also mentioned some specific things that were really interesting without really naming the school and the incident, but we all know exactly who he was talking about when he brought up bagmen, McDonald's bags. He talked about his time in the SEC, his time at Ole Miss when they had an infractions punishment as well. He didn't shy away from any of that. He talked about college football's history in paying players. He went all the way back to the 1800s with that. And he brought up some of the times Ohio State has gotten in trouble with it as well. So I commend him for being very open in this conversation about some of these things. I thought he handled himself incredibly well. And I know some people don't like Ross Bjork for whatever reason. I think he's an upgrade from Gene Smith. I do. I think, obviously hindsight will be 2020. We'll look back at his career and we'll say either he was a success or a failure. So far under his athletic directorship, we've won a national championship already.
A wet mop is an upgrade from Gene Smith. Gene Smith did a great job of promoting Olympic sports. He did a great job of building buildings.
Yep.
He did an absolute crap job of supporting his football program and his men's basketball program, which brought him in all the damn money to do it with to begin with. Gene Smith was the worst athletic director in Ohio State history. And the fact that he gets so much credit just irritates my soul. This guy just needs to go away and never have his name mentioned again.
All right. Gene Smith or Andy Geiger?
Oh.
Smith was worse.
Really? I don't know about that.
I look at the way he handled the Urban situation. I think he did a terrible job with that. He's the guy who also, don't forget, cost us a national title by taking that self-imposed bowl ban in 2012.
Andy cost us Mo Claret, so we can always thank him for that.
Well, Maurice kind of cost us Maurice himself.
Hey, I'll tell you what, the honest thing is, Maurice will tell you that he made some bad choices.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah, he was sleeping on my couch for a couple weeks, and he definitely was not making good choices. But
Wait, time out. What did you just say?
He slept on our couch for a couple of weeks there after the trouble started over in Bethel Village condos.
Okay.
And he was saying that he was working out, preparing, to get back, and we were like, dude, you haven't worked out in a long time. So the writing was kind of on the wall there. I always liked Mo, but I never saw him really getting back on the field
I'll tell
after
you what, though, he
a
did
while.
get right, Nate. He got himself right.
He did.
What he does now, for all the young athletes, for all the people he speaks with, he really is. And if you've never heard him speak,
He
he
does
is
a
a
good job.
great speaker. He did some promotional stuff for us here up at OSU Marion when I was out here, and just a tremendous guy. And I'm telling you, I'm glad the guy got back on the right path, and I'm glad he's back with the program to offer these kids guidance
Yeah.
on what not to do.
I wish someone would have been there for him.
For him,
You know what I'm saying? I wish there would have been a Mo previously that could have been there to help him, because there was nobody there to help him for quite some time. But his life could have gone the wrong way. I mean, it was already going the wrong way, but it could have gotten worse, or it could have stayed on that path. And kudos to him for doing what he's done. And I think he's an example for these kids these days. And I too am glad that he's back with the program, because he's a resource that should be used.
Well, long story short, Ross Bjork answered questions. He came out. He's not going to satisfy everybody. He knows that. I thought he did a decent job answering those questions. And like Vader says, we nailed it. We were on this thing a week ago. We kind of laid it all out for you on what we think thought was going on. We absolutely nailed it here at the OHIO podcast. $3 million offer for Seton is what we have been calling, what we've been saying. I talked about it this morning. I said I don't know what we're going to offer yet. That was confirmed today. Buck Vader said it's $3 million was our offer. We dropped some big news on the dollar amounts over on our Patreon. So if you're interested in what some guys were asking and what some guys got, head on over to Patreon. You can check that out. Chris's face right now in reaction should tell you everything you would want to know.
There are some people who definitely asked for a hell of a lot more than they were worth.
I agree.
That's all I'm going to say.
So definitely go check that out, everybody. We just thought we would jump on here and give you all a quick breakdown of what Ross Bjork said today in his interview, which I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did that. And again, whether you like the guy or not, I personally think he's doing a decent job for us right now, given the environment and the storm in which we are in this crazy world of change that is college football. I'm glad we're playing by the rules. I don't want to skirt the rules. I don't want to be the school that says, let's go around the rules. I want to win this thing the right way. I've always been that way. I feel that it's important to be that way. If you're like, heck no, let's just cheat our way to a national championship, there's a school that will gladly accept your fandom. They wear maize and blue, and they love to cheat.
No. They wear blue and piss yellow.
Okay, that too.
Told you before.
And they're scum.
Yeah.
And they're scum. I like to hold our university accountable. It's what we should be doing as fans. Yeah, Connor Stallions got away with everything. Did he, though? He got fired.
Yeah, he's not coaching anymore.
Yeah, but he's still the hero.
I mean,
he's a Michigan man.
He is a Michigan.
Okay, sure. I guess if that's what you were going for, but
him and Portnoy probably still have a weekly lunch date.
Maybe. A lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much, Nate, for joining us. Chris, don't forget, here in just a couple hours, 8 o'clock, the Buckeye Ladies will be having their last show here tonight. Make sure you check out TG and Mika for the Buckeye Ladies. Mika's new channel, the Illuminati podcast, dropped today, so go check that out. Give her a sub. It's a lot of fun over there. I love that podcast. It's a lot of great fun. All right, guys. Till next time, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. You all know what to do. OH.
I-O.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.